Welcome to another episode of United Guns of America. I am your host, Brian Redmond, and today we are talking about one of my favorite firearms, and it is none other than the 9mm full-size PX4 Storm. Is that how you're supposed to do it? Storm. But it's the 9mm Beretta PX4 Storm. Now, when you're talking about a name like Beretta, you are definitely talking about a high quality firearm. Beretta makes some of the best firearms in the world today. Pietro Beretta, it is an Italian made gun. Forza bello tutti frutti, mamma mia, it's the Beretta Pietro Beretta PX4 Storm. I don't speak Italian, but just it's an Italian-made firearm, and like I said, it's one of the first firearms that I've learned to use was a Beretta, so I definitely am a fan of Beretta. I love their handguns for the most part. I think the only handgun that I don't like of the Beretta family is probably the Nano. I'm not a big Nano fan. I just don't like the way it looks, don't really like the way it feels, but that's neither here nor there because I actually have I have 3 other Berettas. So I'm definitely a fan of the PX4 Storm, the full size 9mm. It is the polymer frame metal slide. It is beautiful when it comes to just the look, the feel, and the way that it performs. It is outstanding. So I definitely give this firearm high marks. So I'm going to go over some of the key points about this. For those of you out there that may be watching this that's considering a Beretta, the PX4 Storm, the 92 FS, the 96 A, I believe it is. Those are definitely some of the top of the line firearms. They are great shooters to have. They perform well. You don't have to worry about those guys failing on you. They will shoot any type of ammo. They're not picky in any shape, form, or fashion. Those guns work. They take a beating and they continue to work. I have had nothing but success with the Beretta brand, period, point blank. It definitely is one of my favorite firearms. So let's go over this guy. And hey, you guys let me know if you like my new view. I kind of like switched it up a little bit because I guess the review is about the gun, not about me. So I made myself smaller and I made the gun a little bit bigger. So y'all let me know how you like this. So first and foremost, we're talking about it is a full-size 9mm caliber firearm. This has the polymer frame here. You can see this is the polymer part. It's basically plastic. Now, I do want to point out a few things here. This color fill here, the color fill that you see on the magazine. Look at that autofocus on that camera. Wow. The color fill that you see on the magazine, I did that. That is aftermarket stuff. My sights are aftermarket as well, and of course this polished slide here is aftermarket too. When I first purchased this, I did purchase the what they call inox, or basically that's Italian for stainless steel, I believe, and that is definitely how it comes. It's basically a little bit duller than this, but I like the so shiny. I like my Tomator. I like for it to be shiny. It just looks great. I love the way it performs. It feels good in my hand. And so that's pretty much a couple of the aftermarket things that I did on this guy. Excuse me. Now, this is a hammer fire. Basically, that means this guy here, cock that guy back, and that puts that guy in the ready to go bang position. And you can actually use the decocker here, which is ambidextrous. That means you can use it for left-handed or right-handed. And basically what that does is if the hammer is cocked back like this, you can actually pull that back, and now the safety is engaged, and this guy will not fire under any circumstances. Unless this guy here is up, this guy won't shoot. You can also do the half cock there, and you can also manually pull it back already, so you don't have to go to that second stage. It's already there. This is what you call a double action firearm. So that means that first pull, you actually have to engage that hammer to go back. Once it goes back and fires that first round, the hammer will stay back like this, and the slide will basically just go bang, 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 keeping that hammer back. So that's just a little something different for those of you who may not be used to that, who are used to striker fire firearms like a Springfield or like a Smith & Wesson Shield, or like the Glock, of course. Then you don't have to worry about that. I myself, because I was trained on the Beretta double action style firearm, it was something that it's second nature to me, so it's not a problem. One of the biggest things about this gun too is the barrel. Now, most of your firearms today that you have, they just have basically what they call a tilting barrel. And that means when that firearm is discharged, bullet goes bang, the bullet goes through the barrel, and the barrel does a slight tilt, and you will see that barrel tilt so that next round will load and that barrel will come back. It's a very, very small tilt that it does, but that's a part of like the recoil. And when you're talking about recoil, that's every time you fire the gun actually, you know, going up like this. This particular firearm is a little different, and the way that it's made, it is actually a great benefit when you're talking about just being able to put rounds on target. There we go. This barrel is what they call a rotating barrel, and what that does is that when that gun is fired, bang, hammer drops, bullet goes bang, the barrel does not tilt, it actually rotates. So you can actually see that there. You see how that barrel did that little rotating action there? That's basically what it does. So it does not tilt up, it actually rotates. So what that does is that when you're talking about just that constantly shooting and you're shooting and you're shooting and you're shooting and you're shooting, it doesn't do that. You don't get that jerk like that. It actually keeps the gun to where it actually stays here. And you can actually feel that when you're firing this firearm. It is very, very smooth. I love the way that this gun shoots. The rotating barrel is definitely something that they hit it out of the park with this gun. It works smooth. It's not an issue. You don't have to do anything special with this guy, and I can even take this guy apart really quick. You just basically, let's close that guy, and we're gonna do this. Pull that down. It comes apart kind of like the Glock does too, where you just basically pull those two little things down here to slide release, get those guys down, and it comes out. So basically what this is we're going to take this guy off, and there you can see it. So there is that rotating barrel, and basically what that does is that basically lets that barrel do that guy action right there. So it just rotates when that next round is being fired. This little guy sits on top of that, so when you do, it knows exactly the little track to follow. When you're talking about field stripping it, it is not difficult at all. You literally put that guy on there, you see that there, it sits there. It lines up, boom. You put this guy back on top there, boom. You're right back in action. You're ready to rock and roll. So the field stripping of this is definitely something simple. Beretta has always pretty much kept it very simple, very easy to do. With the 92 and the 96, you actually have to do that little slide, that little drop down lever. You have to hit that guy, push that button on this side, and then hit that guy. Like in my 92 video, you'll see that. And then you can take the slide off. With this one here, it's literally just these two little pins here. You just pull down on both sides at the same time, and that slide literally just pushes forward and comes right off. So once you put it back together, it's ready to rock and roll, and you're back in action. So field stripping, in my opinion, is something that's important because you never know when you might have to do something like that. Comes off very easily when you're talking about cleaning the gun. Very simple to do. It's not difficult at all. But I definitely like the fact that this gun has this rotating barrel. If you ever go to a gun store and you're going to the range or something, I would definitely highly recommend that you shoot this. If you are a first-time gun owner and you want something to buy and you're thinking about something like this, you like the Beretta, shoot this gun. Shoot this gun. This gun is very smooth and very easy to shoot. Excuse me. And I definitely would say that I would put this firearm up against any of the other ones that are out there today. Your top sellers, your Glocks, your Smith & Wessons, all of those guys, I will put this gun up with that. One of the things that I do want to mention too, like I mentioned in the Beretta video, the 92 compact video, is that when I carry this firearm, as soon as I put it in the holster, that safety is off and that gun is hot. Reason why I do that is because if I'm in a situation where I need to use my firearm, I don't have to worry about the safety. When I carry my Glock, I don't have to worry about taking the safety off. It is something that I have trained myself to do to where I can take it off, but I leave it off when I put it in the holster. And that's just so that's one less thing I have to worry about because I may not think about it. I could be in a hurry. I could be in a sense of urgency. I could be in a fight. Whatever the case may be, and I need to pull my firearm, and I don't want to have to fiddle around with my thumb safety to do that. This is also a great gun to have in a home. When you're talking about protecting your loved ones and you're talking about having that firearm in the house, so whenever you hear that thing go bump in the night or whatever, this is definitely one of the guns that I would recommend to have in the home, because when you don't have this gun in the holster, you can have that safety engaged like that, and any kid can pick this gun up and they cannot fire it. So you're talking about a child being able to not only have to pick this gun up, but they also have to be able to take this safety off and then pull the trigger in order to use it. And I think that that's something when it comes to just having a gun in the house. When you have small children, I think that is very, very, very important, and it's something to consider. Having something like a Glock, which I have handy here, having something like this in a home, yes, this gun performs beautifully and it works. However, when anyone picks this gun up, I always tell everybody the thing about a Glock or striker fire pistols, period, in general, whenever someone picks up this gun, it is ready for action. Now, everybody says, well, you should always treat guns like that anyway, and they should always, yes, you should. But in this instance, I think you have a little bit more of an option when it comes to safety, because the only safety that you have on this gun is that little safety right there, because once that's there, that's ready to go, and it's gonna fire, it's gonna shoot if it's loaded. And then you have your people who will say this: well, if you don't have a round chambered in the firearm, then it's just as safe and it won't fire. Yup, but if you're in a situation where somebody dives on your butt and you have to get your firearm, you don't want to have to do a two-handed motion to dispatch a round, to fire off a round. So that's why I don't believe in carrying without a round in the chamber. This gun is a tool, and it is meant to be used in a life or death situation. And one of the things you don't want to have to do is to have to rack the slide to chamber around in a situation where your life is on the line. So that's one of the differences when you're talking about having a gun for your everyday carry that you carry personally, or you're talking about having a gun in the house. Even if you put this gun in a safe, which is a great idea as well, you still have that backup safety option there that is hard for a child to manipulate. Now, you're talking about a kid who's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old or whatever. They know what this is. They know how to use it. That's different. I'm talking about a little bitty baby. Like, my daughter could not fire this firearm. She's 4 years old. She couldn't get this gun off with this safety on here because she doesn't know how to use this, and she would have to literally be fooling around with it for probably a good while before she figures that part out and is able to flip that up and then turn around and pull the trigger. So that's just my own 2 cents on that. Not saying that this gun is going to save somebody's life or save your kid's life, and it won't happen. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. But when you hear about the stories where, kids take guns out of their mother's purse, or they pick up a firearm off the nightstand, or they go into the nightstand drawer, or that drawer that they have the guns stored in, and they pick it up, point it at their little brother or sister or their friend or whoever, or even at their parent, and say they're playing, and bang, mommy, I would rather have this happen and this guy be here to save my butt than for it not to be there, and I wish it was. Because at the end of the day, a child pulling the trigger is usually going to be a life or death situation, and it doesn't usually work out well when they don't. I just saw a story a few weeks ago where a little kid killed his brother just by playing with a gun. Thought it was a toy, pointed it at his brother, killed his brother, didn't even know. I think the kid was like 5. Didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? And I think something like this, having a gun like this that you're going to keep in the house, I think is definitely something to consider. So that's just my thing about Berettas. I do like that feature. I do like that option. Other than that, like I said, we talked about the sight upgrade. These are the HD sights that I put on here, the Trigicon. If you get a chance to check some of those out, they usually run about $100 or so, maybe a little bit over that, but I think they are great sights. They last a very long time. They function extremely well. Man, I like that focus on this camera. And you can see that this has the orange circle, and that's for daylight. And then when the lights are low in low light situations, those guys will glow green. Yep, you can actually see them too. That's sweet. And those guys will glow green, and you can see that when you're lining up that sight, getting that sight picture in, you can see those 3 green dots in a dark situation, and you'll be able to definitely see what it is that you're shooting at. I definitely would recommend this firearm as a first-time carrier, first-time shooter, someone who is just new into firearms. This is a gun that is going to not just work, it's going to work extremely well, it's going to last, it's a high-quality firearm. You can do a lot of things with it. You can add like a light to it if you want to. And like I did, I modified the slide and the barrel. I polished both of those. This has the rotating barrel again on here, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Please give me a comment. Let me know what you think about the different view, how I switched it around, did the reversal thing. Let me know if you like that or not. If you got any questions, put it in the comments below. This was, like I said, just a brief introductory review of this firearm. Like I said, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I am Brian Redmond. This is the United Guns of America channel. And thank you guys for your time and thank you for watching. Peace, and I'm out.